Duval. But today we're talking about becoming a realtor. A lot of people want to become realtors. What do you think is some of the biggest reasons that people want to become a realtor, Mo?
So you want to become a realtor? I don't know. I think a lot of these TV shows, right, get things started.
Yeah.
They plant that seed, so to speak.
Yeah, I agree. So Mo, why did you decide to become a realtor?
It's kind of a story, I guess. At the end of we were sitting around dinner one night with some friends, and we were, all in the process of either buying or selling a home, and we started talking about real estate investing. And, we got this crazy idea to take the course. We all three of us, we decided to go take it. We did, it was a lengthy one. It took a couple months. We were all working full time at the time, and we did it at night. It's a couple hours, a couple days a week. So we sat through that. And ironically, one of us at the time came out and jumped right into it. And he did really well. He got on with a builder selling townhomes, and really piqued my interest at that time to hear how well he was doing. And about a year and a half later, things were transitioning as well for, my family. We had a son coming on the way, and we were looking to sell the home and make a move to Jax. And at that time, I was looking, hey, okay, I'm going to move to Jax. I'm going through some transitions. This would probably be a great time to get it kick-started and do it full-time. So I jumped into it, full-time at that time. And I've been doing it since 2000 to right now.
Yeah. So for me, I first got started with an interest in investing in real estate. I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and decided I was interested in investing in real estate. And that was kind of the thing that actually pushed me to my interest in becoming a realtor, because I just wanted to get around the real estate industry. I wanted to learn more about the market. I wanted to learn about pricing homes and just learn a lot more. And that's what kind of led me to wanting to become a realtor. Now, listen, becoming a real estate agent, honestly, it's not for everyone. There's a lot of real estate agents out there. Actually, in Northeast Florida, we have, the last that I heard, we have more active real estate agents than we do active listings for sale. So a lot of people decide to get their real estate license, and it's not for everyone. I had somebody that I used to work with at a car dealership before I got my license, and they had decided to get their real estate license, and they did it part-time. Because they had a job. So 2 nights a week, they would go out and they would go to the course, 63-hour course. They did it over the course of, I would say 2.5 months or something like that. They finally got through the course, and then they took the state exam, and they passed that. And then they joined the Association of Realtors. That costs, between $1,000 to $1,500, depending on the time of year that you're.
What?
Yeah, the time of year that you're signing up, because it's prorated. And so he spent all his time getting ready, got his license, paid his dues, got started, and 6 days later, he quit the business.
Say it ain't so.
6 days later, he quit the business. And he had a couple experiences with customers, helping customers and kind of juggling some situations. And he just quickly decided and realized that it just wasn't for him. And actually, I heard that he went on and he got went into a different career field, and I believe he's been in it ever since. I think for him, I think he made the right move, and he just knew it wasn't for him. Unfortunately, after all that time and money spent getting into the business. But just to know, you want to count the costs, you want to think about the ins and outs, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to get into talking about the pros and cons of being a real estate agent. I'll go ahead and start. One of the pros is a flexible schedule. That's why a lot of people, I was just talking to somebody recently, and they were thinking about becoming a real estate agent because they wanted more of a flexible schedule to be with their kids, and it can certainly be flexible. I can go and, visit the kids for lunch at their school, or, have availability during the days, unlike somebody that's at an office for 8 hours, and that can be convenience. Now, on the flip side of that, your customers, they're going to want to reach you right away. And a lot of times it's when they're not working. So that can be after regular business hours and on the weekends. So becoming a real estate agent, for most people, that is going to involve making yourself available at different times of the day when the rest of the world maybe is shutting down and enjoying themselves. So you want to keep that in mind. And then also, Mo, what's another pro and con here?
I think a lot of people think of, hey, you can work at your own pace. You have all this time and flexibility, on your hands, and that could be a double-edged sword for some. Some with a great work ethic and they have structure. It could be a definite pro. For others who have lack of structure, it could lead to very inconsistent income. I know there's a lot of these shows, they paint this beautiful picture of how glorious real estate can be, but I had the very exact opposite when I first got into the business. I did everything. When we first got here, I went and I interviewed with the company, went to the agent orientation. Here we are 6 months later, and I haven't received a paycheck. I was very accustomed to getting a paycheck every week. You kind of live your life according to that, and you save, and things are good. You pay your bills on time. And then, here I am, 6 months later, no paycheck. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm walking around the house in my underwear. I'm thinking this is crazy. I'm doing everything they're telling me to do at the company, and it amounted to nothing. Now, granted, I didn't know anybody when I first moved to Jax, so I think that was definitely something to take into consideration. But then to cap it off, the very first check I ever received in real estate was for $0.00.
That is a payoff.
Yep, I couldn't believe they stroked the check on paper to hand it to me. But I actually owed the company more than what I made. So, between desk fees and material fees, et cetera, I made nothing.
Yeah.
So that was my claim to fame.
Now, that was at a certain brokerage. Not all brokerages have desk fees.
That is correct.
That's where you can call us at 904-877-1234. Again, that's 904-877-1234. We could tell you about our brokerage. But another pro and con is, hey, large payoff opportunities. You could be getting a $0.00 check like Mo. No, but there's large payoff opportunities. You can help a customer, and sometimes it can be kind of a quick process, or even if it does take a couple months. And then when that paycheck comes, though, it could be a good paycheck that's going to be, make an impact on your income for the year. The higher price of the home that you sell, and once you factor in the percentage of the commission, you can definitely have some big payoffs. But what's the flip side of that, Mo?
On the flip side, it's another story as well. We're at this is years ago. Still at the first company I ever worked for, but we're at the title company. It was a first-time home buyer. Went through several different phases, obviously the inspection where things were, I guess, kind of uncomfortable for them. It was a phase where they were learning, but we made it. We were getting to the finish line. We're at the closing table, and, they broke for lunch, come back. I'm waiting. I'm continuing to wait. I'm still waiting.
And it's a big day because you're excited. You're thinking about what you're going to spend this commission on. You're going to pay some bills, do some fun stuff.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's like we actually went and did the final walk. Yeah. And then, hey, everybody kind of at that point broke for lunch.
Everything's good.
Went to wait for them at the title company. And lo and behold, we sat there for almost 2 hours. I was waiting. I called. I didn't know if they got in a car accident. I didn't know what happened. But I left several messages. Lo and behold, probably close to the end of the business day, the boyfriend finally calls me back. And, he's apologizing. Hey, my girlfriend, she got cold feet. It was a phase. I would call it buyer's remorse or whatever you want to call it, but she was nervous and scared at the end of the day. And they never closed. But, that's something where you don't plan for those things. That was the first time I had ever, sat through something like that as well. But, things like this happen. Financing falls through. Inspections can fall through. There's different phases of things could fall apart. But you don't expect... You go through the whole phase, and then at the end of the day, they don't get to the closing table. But sometimes you have to prepare for these things.
Yeah. So on one hand, you could definitely have large payoff opportunities, and you work hard to try to make sure that those are getting strung together, in a consistent time frame. But on the flip side, you do a lot of work for free. A lot of work you do, for the hope that you're helping somebody get to the closing table. But some people don't end up buying a house, or it's possible that some house won't sell for whatever reason. And these are the things that you definitely got to be prepared for. Now, another thing.
Oh, and just to dive in, as you were saying before too, Dan, these are all the little things that you don't plan for, you can't prepare for. And I think over the years, you and I both, we have a lot of stories that we can share.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think these experiences is what kind of prepares us or puts us in a situation now where I do feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm prepared for,
Right.
for these different things.
Yeah.
And we kind of know how to navigate our customers to hopefully getting them to the finish line.
Right. Yeah, and that's one of the things why we're sharing it with you now is because you almost have to expect this. You have to expect the unexpected. You have to expect this if you're going to get in the business, because otherwise it'll just completely lay you out. You just got to know some deals are not going to work out. You got to know that sometimes things are not going to go the way that you want them to. And if you're prepared for that and ready for that kind of thing, it's going to definitely make you a more long-lasting real estate agent. I'm going to pause to quickly tell you can give us a call to ask us more questions about all this at 904-877-1234. Again, that's 904-877-1234. But another aspect about real estate that I really like is the daily variety. Maybe you currently work at a job, or you have worked at a job where you do pretty much the same thing for 8 hours every single day. And you get to work, you get started, and you're just kind of doing the same thing over and over for 8 hours, and you just repeat it. And for me, for some people, they might love that consistency of doing that task. But for me, I love the variety that we have in real estate. It's one of the my favorite things. One day I could be out touring homes in different areas and finding out about cool different areas. The next day I might be having an office day, doing a lot of office work and stuff like that. Another day we might be working on some marketing stuff, or we might be in the radio station recording a show, talking to you guys right now. But there's a lot of variety that kind of brings together, our career as real estate agents, and that's definitely something I like. But let's say you're listening to us and you're thinking about, I'm hearing you guys, and I am interested. I do want to get my real estate license. I do want to be a realtor. Mo, what are those next steps?
Yeah, first you're going to want to take the pre-licensing course. It's a 63-hour course. You could take it in an in-class setting in as quick as a week, or online at your own pace. But once you complete that and you feel comfortable that you're ready, you go ahead, and next step would be take the state exam. You pass that, then it's decide on which brokerage you want to go work for. I hope that's where you reach out to Dan and myself, and you give us a call at 904-877-1234, get you with a brokerage. And then you join the National Association of Northeast Florida, and that's how you get things started.
Yeah, man. So if you guys have any questions, definitely give us a call, 904-877-1234. And Mo, getting started as a real estate agent, what do you think are some of those, what tips would you give somebody that's getting started that you think definitely helped you in your real estate career getting going?
Diving into it initially, I didn't know what to expect. So I think actually getting involved with people that seemed or appeared, or you heard their names quite a bit at the beginning. I was trying to mimic some of their, what were they doing? What were they doing differently? And just getting around good, supportive broker, I think is huge. Someone that's going to pick up the phone, answer questions when you have one. And I think that's where, actually with Exit, I found a good place for myself, that I get a broker that if I ever have a question, he's going to, quickly respond. And, having a compadre like you, you and I talk quite a bit going through transactions.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to ask questions. Feel that, confident that whoever you're leaning on is going to give you some good advice.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just want to add on to that, definitely a plug for Exit Real Estate Gallery. We've both been with the brokerage for over a decade. And I think that's becoming less and less heard of, where someone's consistently with a brokerage for a long time. And there's a reason. Our broker owners, they're constantly pushing to grow the brokerage. They're constantly pushing to add more and more resources for the real estate agents, and the training and mentoring and constant opportunities for lead generation. So if you have any questions about becoming a real estate agent, or getting started, or joining a brokerage, or anything that we talked about today, give us a call, 904-877-1234.